Hello, it's Rebecca, and you're watching Syrian Sage for a Geomancy reading. Today's reading was offered as a free reading to an anonymous client who reached out to me regarding the potential whereabouts of a missing person. If you are just seeing me for the first time and don't know me, I am a spiritual counselor, Akashic Records reader, and I also study and practice divinatory arts, including the tarot and geomancy. I began my journey as a skeptic, and I learned geomancy partly to challenge a statement made by Henry Cornelius Agrippa, who claimed that geomancy was the most accurate system of divination. Geomancy is a Renaissance divination technique from Africa, which I learned about mostly from authors John Michael Greer, Franz Hartmann, and Israel Regardie. I've been testing this divinatory system for a couple of years and have found it to be a highly accurate system. However, I haven't tested this hundreds or thousands of times personally. I also have never offered, nor have I been asked before, to do a geomantic reading for the whereabouts of a missing person. Please note that this reading has been offered to this client only for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes, as it allows me to further test the system and to hone my skills as a geomancer. I cannot claim that this interpretation is going to literally match up with real-world results. Anyway, let's begin. I have already drawn out the spread. My earlier recording, the Quesited house, I would have considered the third house to be the Quesited house. Now, what that means, since this is for information and educational purposes, is that the Quesited house is where we're asking the question. We are asking about a missing person who is a nephew to our querent here. This is our anonymous person. And this is the child of their sibling. Siblings are a third house issue, as you can see from the third mother right here that represents the third house. And children are in the fifth house. So if we are asking about a nephew, we're asking about the child of a sibling. So that would be the fifth house. Now, this is according to how geomancy is instructed to be done as an advanced interpretive method. So the child of a sibling would be the sibling's fifth house. So if this were the first house, we are going to then reposition it accordingly. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if we're counting from right to left, as you do in geomancy. Then the seventh house is actually the Quesited house. And the seventh house contains the figure that gives us some clues as to whereabouts or location. And what I can tell you about how this is all constructed, and again, because we're trying to be informational about it here, the first four mothers, which are these first four houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, from right to left, these four figures are what you use to generate the first four daughters. And then from there, the nieces are generated by funneling the binary combinational value of these upper two figures. The first four figures, I created these by casting dice. I use a color-coded dice. I'll show you what that looks like. These are aligned with platonic solids, and also just so you get an association of what it means. The head represents fire. So right here I have red to represent fire, and also the shape of the platonic solid that aligns with fire. The next would be air. Air is associated with the throat, and air here is yellow. And then from there we have the water line, which is the torso. And then we have the green dice that represents the feet of the figure or earth. All I need to do is to roll the dice 4 times to obtain the odd or even number values of those first 4 mothers. And so just by rolling these dice, I got these first 4 mothers, and then to generate the daughters, You create the first daughter by the head of the first four mothers. So here we have 2, 1, 2, 1. And then over here, we're aligning what is horizontal from right to left into vertical from top to bottom. So 2, 1, 2, 1. And this is the figure that is referred to as acquisitio. This first figure here, this is called tristitia. And I'll walk you through what these other ones are. This is amicio. The third house here, we have conjunctio. The fourth house, we have the figure via, which means way. We have, again, we have acquisitio here in the fifth house. In the sixth house, we have fortuna major. And then in the seventh house, this is actually our quesited house right here. We have caput draconis. Caput draconis means the head of the dragon. And if we are to look at this as far as location goes, because let's just get right to the point here, this figure is an indicator that the person isn't actually lost at all. That is, again, according to the information that I have read about geomancy. And I've learned this in particular from the author John Michael Greer in his book that is titled The Art and Practice of Geomancy. So some notable things that I notice here is that conjunctio is here in the third house for the sibling, and then it is again here in the 11th house. This represents friends, help, unspoken question, hopes and wishes, promises, and it also can represent annual crops. If you were using geomancy to ask a question relating to that, then that would make sense. But when I see that connection here, that there is the same figure in these two different places, this is an indication, this is a crossroads. Conjunctio is a coming together. It is like a union of forces, okay? I think that there may be a connection. There's friends and help here. That may be a clue as to the situation. Another thing that I'm noticing is that we have these two opposite figures here. We have amicio and we have acquisitio. One of them is like a purse that's turned upside down with its mouth open, with the contents pouring out. So this can mean loss. It can also mean generosity with money, movable property. So maybe you may have been very generous with your resources in regards to the question of where this person is. And then acquisitio, this means gain. This is, a purse with its mouth open and it's receiving. So just to give you an idea of all of these figures have a meaning. Tristitia here means sadness. This is like a stake in the ground or like a spade in the ground. And then over here, I just want to reflect more on the quesited house because this is the fifth house of the third house, aka the seventh house. So caput draconis would be the inner threshold or the upper boundary, a high tree, an upright staff, or stepping inside, a threshold coming in. Its image is associated with a doorway with footprints leading toward it. This is a stable figure and represents entering energy. There's other kinds of energies that these different figures represent, like exiting energy or liminal energy, as in it can do both. Like this figure via, that means way or road. This is a liminal energy because you can come and you can go on a road, but that just is a really obvious on the nose kind of example. With caput draconis here, this is also associated with the zodiac sign of Virgo, and it's associated with the north node of the moon, or that would be the north pole of the moon. And this can also represent the upper world or the spiritual kingdom. It can also represent karmic benefit. Being associated with the zodiac sign of Virgo would mean this energy is more methodical, critical. It's prudent. It has to do with perfectionism and details, and also a willingness to serve. Virgo is like a sixth house. So, service people, illness. Think about people who are doing healthcare. So, that's what Virgo is about. So that's what Caput Draconis can give us some other indication of. It is definitely an earthy kind of an energy. It's active air, active water, and active earth with these 3 points here, and inactive fire. So yeah, according to this, it indicates that this person isn't actually lost. They are not actually missing at all. That doesn't give me I'm not satisfied with that as an answer. When I look through all of my notes about it, for that to be the location, if we are looking for something or someone who is missing, for that to be the answer, and I quote, the object, person, or animal has not actually been lost at all. What my assessment really boils down to is that this figure is where we are looking for a clue as to the person themselves and their location. And Caput Draconis is ultimately the indicator that this person may not actually be lost at all. So they may be intentionally hiding from people. And that could be a reason why they may not be considered to be lost. But again, that is up to interpretation, and that information came out of John Michael Greer's book, The Art and Practice of Geomancy. So I'm going to wrap this up here. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can go to SyrianSage.com for a private one-on-one call, or you can book a reading on video through my Ko-fi shop, which is right here. My website, SyrianSage.com, also has other freebies like downloadable zines, and I offer a giveaway private reading every month, which you can sign up for on my website. I also read the Akashic Records as a certified soul realignment practitioner. And if you're interested in learning more about that, you can find my other YouTube videos on that topic, or you can visit my website. You can support my work directly by donating to me through Ko-fi and by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. If you've made it all the way to the end of my video, thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a comment with your thoughts, and I hope to see you again soon.